Praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rahakwadash, for giving me a spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Lord will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom to the prophets, the men of the Lord that are preaching and teaching in the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom. And I want to get a quick word uh, on the Juneteenth thing that Jake is celebrating all over the country, and it's mainly being pushed out by Esau and all the marketing, and because Jake really doesn't have the power to market, a holiday like this. I mean, they can get on social media and talk about things, but ultimately this is the work of Esau Edom, because Juneteenth is not normally as popular of a holiday as it is this year, and one of the main reasons for that is because of racial tensions are at an all-time high because of the whole George Floyd thing. And to be honest, a lot of people are frustrated right now because they're out of work. The mirth of this land is gone. You know, because the Most High is doing a mighty work. In all honesty, you can tell that this place is on its last leg, that it's getting ready to go down. You know, and Juneteenth is just the type of thing to get you away from your power, which is the Most High. This is another feast day that is really just rooted in nonsense because, on one side it's supposed to celebrate, the freedom of, of the Emancipation Proclamation, but, you know, nobody wants to acknowledge that the Emancipation Proclamation really just translated a different version of slavery, yet we're out here celebrating it, you know, and this just shows the stupidity of the whole thing. Um, because this is where Esau does his wickedness. On one hand, he freed you from being in actual chains because the North could not profit off of us the same way. But now that we're citizens, the so-called citizens, they can now tax us and still subjugate us into a poverty servant class. And that's exactly what happened, after Jim Crow in the 1860s. Um, so let me just read their definition of it here. It says Juneteenth is a holiday celebrating the emancipation of those who have been enslaved in the United States, originating in Texas. It is now celebrated annually on the 19th of June throughout the United States with varying official recognition. Um, and Google will give you all kind of information on it. Uh, says Black 4th of July, you know. But where was the independence though? You know? And the Most High is not with this anyway, because the Most High, the real Independence Day is about to be upon us, and we're too focused on this nonsense to come back to the Most High, you know, so we can really celebrate in the kingdom. This isn't our rest, We need to come out of nonsense and madness like this. It says 1863. Yeah, this whole thing is stupid, And to be honest, I didn't know too much about Juneteenth before all of this. Um, but as you look at it, we just started celebrating according to this in 1980. You know, showing you that Jake really didn't really recognize it like that. But this around 1980s when they started changing the branding and calling us African Americans instead of coloreds, or blacks, and then now it's back to blacks now, because ultimately they just don't want us to have an identity, man. They want anything to distract us from who we are, which are the Israelites, you know. And I'll get a scripture and account in Hosea, uh, going into how the Most High feels about this sentiment to give you an idea. Uh, actually, yeah, let me get Jeremiah 10 first. Um, because this is what our people is going into now. Jeremiah goes into it. This is basically Christmas, a version of Christmas before the Lord came on the scene. This is Jeremiah 10:2. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." So we're not to go into these holidays that Esau is sanctioning. You know, try to celebrate whether or not you're an Israelite and have that day. See if he lets that happen. Them so-called Jays will beat up his ass in a second. It says, "For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest and worketh of the hands of the workman with the axe." Right? Because the Most High didn't sanction this. There's no glory and there's no significance to our people in cutting down a tree and putting it up in your house, man. And it's the same with this. The Most High did not free us. This was a translation of slavery, a different type of slavery, a more economic version of it. It's a more psychological slavery where they free you and they show you how low you are. You don't know how to change. And verse 4 says they deck it with silver and gold, and they fasten it with nails and hammers, that it not move. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. It says, who would not fear thee, O King of nations? Because they don't fear the Most High. And here it is back then. They're straight up just worshiping other idols right before the eyes of the Most High, knowing who they are. And a lot of people who know that they're Israelites are out here celebrating Juneteenth. This is not a high holy day. We haven't been delivered yet, and you don't even know if you're gonna be delivered in this coming destruction. You know, it's wise you humble yourself and come back to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, for as much among all the wise men of the nation, and in all their kingdoms there is none like unto thee. It says, but they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. So this whole thing is vain. Juneteenth. Look at this. This says the colors of Juneteenth. The colors red, white, and blue echo the American flag to symbolize that the enslaved people and their descendants were Americans, not Israelites, Americans. Now, what is the Most High going to do to Americans? You know, what is He going to do to America? You know, He's going to burn this whole place with fire, the entirety of it. You know, so why you celebrating an independence? And it's double speak as well too. If you think about it, on one hand, it's independence, but independence from who? The Americans are the ones who enslaved you. And then here it's saying uh, to symbolize that the enslaved people and their descendants were Americans. So why would you want to become the people that enslaved you to begin with? Showing you that this whole thing is madness. And I'll get the account in Hosea and close out. It's just Hosea 2, and I'll start at 2. It says, plead with your mother, because this is also us going off again, during the time of King Hezekiah, Jeroboam, I want to say, going back to verse 1. Yeah, Jeroboam, so of Joash, king of Israel, Hezekiah, kings of Judah, So going back to verse 2, Hosea 2 and 2, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, because that's what this is, just to be frank. It says, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. So that's what's coming to you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are so into this. Mainly you Negroes, because it's pointed at Negroes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. That hey, the Most High is not with this, man. Verse 4, it says, and I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredom. So, you know, you're celebrating something that even back in the day, our forefathers weren't even celebrating, really, in this case, because they knew, they weren't getting 40 acres and a mule, and they were still getting lynched. You know, they were getting hung, killed, beat, redlined into, inner city neighborhood, which we still live in today, you know. It says, for their mother hath played the harlot. She that she that conceived them hath done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, and that's us going after Americans, American affection, love, validation, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy ways with thorns, and make a wall, that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And that's right, because we just look stupid out here like a crazy ex-girlfriend chasing behind a white man, you know. And he's just ignoring you, giving other women everything else, you know what I'm saying? We just out here looking crazy. When meanwhile the Most High is calling for us, saying, "Come out of this." It says, "And she shall seek him, but shall not find him. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then was it better with me than now." You know, and you have Israelites coming back, you know, waking up to what the truth is, basically. It says, for she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepare for Baal. And this is just another holiday of Baal, because ultimately these other holidays, these other feast days, is just it's satanic. The root of it all. And you see where it all comes from. Why they do it is just getting in the spirit of mirth with no real reason or purpose. That's why in Jeremiah they just call it vanities. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. So, the day's coming of Jacob's trouble, and you niggas are gonna be in the spirit of Juneteenth and thinking we're making progress. Meanwhile, the devil is being more of the devil than he's ever been in his life. Verse 10, and now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. And the judgment is going to start with Israelites. The Most High has spoken that. It says, I will also cause her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. So all of these holidays that you Jakes are into, the Most High is getting ready to put a stop to that. When Jacob's trouble gets in full swing, because we're in that time now, but when it gets in full swing and it's all hell breaking loose and panic, the Most High is not going to remember you in that day, you know, because he's calling for you to come back now. It says, and I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And and I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers, and forgot me, saith the Lord Yahweh. So that's how the Most High feels about this whole thing. This whole Juneteenth thing, this false pseudo idea of being free to slavery we literally just you know uh got done protesting. Well, not we. I wasn't out there. I don't deal with that. But you Jakes are out there protesting. You know all of this oppression. But now Juneteenth is something you out there celebrating. What the hell are you celebrating? You know. So with that, hopefully you brothers were edified. Call law Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachakwadash Wa Abab Babal.